know that some news came out.
She looks creepy.
All right, what's going on? It's Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon, depending on where you are. I like to say Wednesday night because the show is hosted here on the East Coast. So,
well, I ordered pizza for dinner, so it's close enough tonight.
There you go. It's close enough. So, what's going on, everybody? Good to see you. It's the Screaming Room with myself and Mr. Kanan Becker from Ghost Pirate Entertainment, and we got a few things to talk about. There's a movie that came out over the weekend that we both saw.
Yep.
And
we
get to talk about that.
A couple that we didn't both see.
Right, yeah.
I saw a couple I don't think you saw.
Terrifier 3. Actually, so
yeah, trailers. Trailers are the big thing of the day.
Yeah, we got a couple of trailers to watch. And then I will talk about a movie that I did watch on Tubi, and I don't know what possessed me to watch this movie. It's just one of those things where it's like, I'll roll the dice on a movie.
Yeah.
And I have no reason to, right? Like, I have no reason to. I just go, you know what? I'll give it 5 minutes. You know, after all the opening credits and all that, right? When the movie's actually supposed to start, give it like 5 minutes. See what we got. And this movie was so like bad. Yep. And just, it was surreal almost that it kept me watching just to see what it would do next. And it like turned into like a musical.
What the fuck?
Dude, this was like Neil Breen levels of bad for this movie. And it was
like Birdemic.
Yeah, sort of, but Birdemic I thought was like kind of entertaining for what it was.
Yeah.
This movie
is Armageddon in the category.
This movie, though, like a shot does not last for longer than 6 seconds before it cuts.
What?
And then it cuts to a different shot. And like, there's so much time jumps. And we'll talk about it in a little bit. But we got, but it's, man.
Yeah, I tried to watch a movie that a number of people have been telling me, you need to watch it. And it's done by the Addams Family, who, you know, I've been pretty high on because I love their movie. Just based on the name of it. Damn it. That witch movie.
The witch.
Totally. No, it's a small. Anyway, they need this new movie called Hellhole, and it just dropped on Shudder, like, I don't know, last week or the week before. And I tried to watch it, and I wanted to like this movie, man. It's a creature feature movie. It's like a little bit like The Thing elements around. Like, it's about this oil drilling team who's drilling into we watched the trailer on here. I think they're drilling into the ground, and all of a sudden they start getting meat, like bloody meat. Yeah.
Yes.
I could not, dude. I went 20 minutes, or no, actually, I think I watched almost half of the whole movie, and I was just like, man, this is just bad, dude.
Really?
Screw this. I'm just not finishing, dude. It's what drives me crazy with so many
Hellhole
indie projects. Yeah. Is they don't have the money to do it right, but they still have these huge cast. And it's like, dude, if you don't have the budget to hire good actors, don't go and hire 30 bad ones.
Right.
Like, hire a couple and keep it just a small script. Like, work within
Cut
the
your characters down.
Yeah. And it's why when they did their movie, Hellbender, when they did Hellbender, it was just basically the daughter and the mom. And it was a brilliant movie. It was so good. But the same lady that was the mother in that movie, and she's actually the mom of this family that makes these movies, she's good in this. But other than her, she's surrounded by like really not good acting. And it just, oh man. And then the dialogue was so bad and cringy. I was just like, dude, I just couldn't do it. And then on top of that, really, really rough CGI.
Ah, it sucks.
Yeah, it's like, guys, I get it. You don't have a big budget, but don't go to Ukraine or wherever the hell, another country, and like it's this big old set, and they're actually using a big drill, and like, you know what I mean? There's quite a bit of money went into doing what they did do. It's like, don't go do that if you don't have the money to have at least sort of okay CGI, or better yet, practical.
Yeah. That's the importance of a script. Like that's how important, and that's why I harp so much on writing, and that's how I harp so much on the script, is because the script is this.
But
Yeah,
it's
but
not
if you have a
about the
good
script in this. In some cases like this, it's about
we said the dialogue
realizing. Yeah, no. And if the dialogue was better, it would have been more watchable. But even still, the biggest issue is you don't have the means. Work within the restraints that you have. Like, know what your resources are and work within those resources. You know, if you don't have the money to create this giant final monster that your whole movie hinges on, you don't have the money to do it practically, or hire a really, really good CGI team, don't make that movie. Wait until you do have those resources to make that movie.
Right.
And it's frustrating because this is one of those situations where even with bad CGI, if the dialogue was better, you know, the writing was better and the acting was decent, it would have been watchable. But to me, when you have both those that are rough, or all three of those that are rough, it's just, yeah. It's just,
well, that's too bad.
It wasn't bad even in a fun way. It was just boring bad.
So the movie I watched,
slow.
So the movie I watched,
you watched the whole thing?
No, I don't know. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep.
What's it called though?
It's called Bolero.
Bolero?
Bolero. The synopsis is: a woman travels through dimensions to find a distant man. And I thought, okay, I don't know any of these people. Okay, so I don't know who the writer is. I don't know who the director is. I don't know. Well, the director also stars in it, I guess.
That's always a bad sign.
But,
or not always, but a lot of times it's a bad sign.
But I'm trying to find where.
Unless you're Jim Cummings.
They made it in the United States, I guess. But this is this came out this year. It's on Tubi, and like I said, this was a movie that I was like, all right, we'll see how it looks, because like one of my favorite indie films is Predestination. Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
So Predestination is awesome, and it deals with a time traveler, and it's a what's the author's name?
Is it sci-fi horror, or?
It's not really horror, it's sci-fi. But it's a Chad, help me out. Who's the author? He also did
Destination.
He also did he wrote Stranger in a Strange Land, Have Spacesuit Will Travel. I'm just blanking on his name for whatever reason. But this, I don't know why this gave me that vibe, but it just, that's what I was like, all right, I'll give it 5 minutes. We'll see what happens. And what Mr.
Predestination has a good cast.
Yes. No, Predestination. I highly recommend Predestination. Mr. Wonderful said sometimes a movie takes longer than 5 minutes to determine if it's going to get good. I understand. I
have a 20-minute rule.
Like, I know. So when I say 5 minutes, that's like a sliding scale, right? So like,
but sometimes in 5 minutes, I'm not even.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly tell a lot of times in 30 seconds if a movie is going to be a good one. But like, I also watch so many movies.
Right.
But like, it's rare that I get, 10, 15 minutes into a movie and think it's bad, and it ends up turning around. That's why I was so surprised by Lowlifes, because I got about 15, 20 minutes in that movie and still thought it was going to be a pile of shit. And then it turned around. And even though I still won't say it's like the greatest movie ever made, I fucking thoroughly enjoyed Lowlifes. And that, I thought it was okay. Rare. But still, like the first 15, 20 minutes of that movie seem like it's going to be hot garbage.
I thought there was going to be another twist in that movie. I thought there was going to be a second twist. And when it didn't come, when they went with the other twist that like was sort of obvious, I was like, all right, that.
Yeah.
Emery says this is two stools yapping about utter mindless nonsense. Bravo and adios. That's what we should call this show from now on, I think.
That title.
Two stools yapping about utter mindless nonsense. I like that better than the screaming room. So thanks, Emery. Well,
what do you expect it's gonna be like?
Anyway, thanks for the view. Robert Heinlein was the author. Thank you. So anyway, so this Bolero movie, if you guys want to, you can check it out on Tubi. Man, I would love to hear your opinion. It's not horror. So if you're just into horror movies, you're not going to like it. But this was, man, this was a movie. But anyway, so that's what it was. Let me see here.
What's up, Tyler? Happy Wednesday. So yeah, so let's get into some of the news.
We'll get into the news. We'll do this.
It's brief. Our news is really brief.
Yeah.
So that's part of why we're just yammering, but
we're probably going to be talking about The Crow a lot.
Yeah, that's mainly what we're doing here today is giving our spoiler-free review of The Crow and then just going into full spoilers. But we also have a couple trailers to watch too. So,
all right. So, this is from Joe Blow. Saw Legacy of Terror experience coming to Six Flags parks. So if you have a Six Flags in your area, there will be Saw Legacy of Terror experience.
Yep. And they're doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre one as well.
That should be very cool.
Yeah.
So from Joe Blow, yesterday we shared some images that offered a preview of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre experience that's coming to Six Flags.
Yep.
As part of their Fright Fest celebrations this year. Now we've learned of another horror movie inspired experience that will be part of the Six Flags Fright Fest event, as Six Flags is teaming up with Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures to celebrate the 20th anniversary. Oh my God, of the original Saw. 20 years.
It's about time that that Six Flags is doing an IP, because the last Fright Fest the last couple have been so weak, dude, because they don't have an IP. So it's just like a couple of really not good haunted houses.
Right.
You know, it's nowhere near what they got going at Universal Studio. But now it sounds like they've upped their game quite a bit. So
says this one is coming to Six Flags Great Adventure, Six Flags Magic Mountain, Six Flags Over Texas, and Six Flags Over Georgia. It will be running from early September through November 3rd of this year. And there's some promotional images at the bottom of the article. Just in time for Halloween season, Saw, the landmark film that spawned an iconic horror franchise, celebrates its 20th anniversary this year. Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures have teamed up with Six Flags to bring Jigsaw's games back to Fright Fests around North America, expanded with new gameplay and even more thrilling jump scares, culminating in one final test to survive. That's interesting because Saw didn't really have a lot of jump scares in it.
But I don't think this is based on just the first movie. Like, it's just the property of Saw in general.
So here's some promo images. These look like
it actually looks
like
pretty
artist
good.
renderings.
Yeah.
Right?
It looks cool, but I don't. Yeah, this is definitely not the actual.
Right.
So that doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah, it doesn't tell us anything.
Because
anyway, so for those of you looking for a Saw-themed haunted house, there you go, Six Flags, if that's in your area.
Yeah. I got a Six Flags about an hour and a half from me. So who knows? I might shoot down there to check this out. Like I said, though, I'm just glad they're finally upping their game, because it's like it's pretty expensive. It's like $60 to $100 or something like that to get in.
Yeah.
And then it's been just garbage. And so like I was actually pissed. Like, luckily who I was with, we were having fun anyway, but we were both just like, this is just the worst haunted houses.
That sucks. There is there's a haunted house here where I'm at called 13 Floors. And
yeah, I've heard a few people talk about that one.
I haven't been yet. I need to.
It's supposed to be pretty sick.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into our first trailer that we're going to talk about. This is the new VHS Beyond teaser that we're going to get. with quite a few names in here.
And I was good. I didn't watch this trailer, and I didn't watch the Terrifier 3 trailer yet. So I'm like itching to see them.
I did watch this one. I did not watch Terrifier 3, so we'll both be going into that. But this one has offerings from Christian and Justin Long.
Which is cool. It's their directorial. It's all of their directorial debut. So it'll be interesting to see, because we love them as actors, but it'll be interesting to see what they can do, behind the camera. So,
yeah. So, but
this is just a teaser, right? It's
this
not
is
like
just
a full-on trailer.
This isn't a full. It shows quite a bit.
What did that say? Hey,
Kanan, sorry. It says John says, "Hey, Kanan, always have good lights in your room." I'm just.
Yeah, I just finished my Halloween setup.
Got to highlight the members.
So that's why instead of my normal green that I do for the podcast, I'm going Halloween orange. It's from here out. It's going to be variations of orange.
Nice. All right, let's get into this trailer. Let's see what we're looking at.
And this is supposed to be based on sci-fi horror, the theme.
Right. So this one should get me, because if there's one thing that I am afraid of, it's fucking aliens. Like, really? I am afraid of aliens. Yeah. So when I see like alien, so in VHS 2, I think it was, that had that one alien short, I thought it was incredible. I loved it. Scared the shit out of me.
Cosmic horror is what gets me as well. Like, I wouldn't say like a normal alien, but like the concept of things like the unknown, of things you can't.
Oh, I love cosmic horror.
But like your head around.
I'm talking about straight up aliens, like scare the shit out of me. So so obviously that scene in Signs, like, sent me through the roof.
Same here back then. I don't know if it would give me the same now. But
yeah, no, not now, but then
Whoa.
Nice.
Oh my god, dude. That shot of that plane breaking up was impressive. Nice.
Yeah,
very
that looked
cool,
good,
man. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I love the VHS franchise. Like, some segments are good, some segments aren't that great. Some of them are better than others. Impressed. Like 94 was really good, but the 98, I think the last one was just kind of eh.
Little Boozy, I did answer. I did enjoy Galaxy of Terror. I did like that. So I thought I answered it last week. Sorry, but I did like Galaxy of Terror. I thought it was good.
What is Galaxy of Terror?
Oh, you haven't seen it? It's the
I don't know. I'm brain farting.
It's the one. It's the most famous scene is the worm humping a lady.
Is it a VHS?
No. It's an actual movie. 1981. I'm looking at
I don't think I've seen that. Is it like a
Mark Siegler,
anthology?
Bruce D. Clark? Huh?
Is it anthology?
No. It's just a sci-fi movie. A ragtag spaceship crew sent on a rescue mission encounter a formidable enemy. Their worst fears projected by their own imaginations.
Oh, that sounds really familiar. Maybe I have seen this.
You probably have seen it. Came out
like a long time ago. Yeah.
But it's got a pretty it's a unique film.
Nice.
But I mean, I liked it. Robert Englund's in it. That's right. And Sid Haig. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Robert Englund and Sid Haig. Yeah. Anyway. Well, probably if you've ever been to a Guar show, which I have, and I would always recommend. Rest in peace, Odorous. But even then, I still think their live show is great. You're never going to replace Odorous, but I still think their live shows are awesome. So if you have not gotten out to a Guar show, please go do so.
They always replace members every,
Yeah, but Odorous is, he was like the staple of the band. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he was a Fox News correspondent for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. What was it that he just did? Like they just did something that I was like, what? Gore did that? I forget. Anyway, and then we also have that 28 days later wrapped filming.
28 years.
So yeah, 28 years later. Wrapped
28
filming
years later, wrapped filming.
day.
I did not get that article. So if you want to talk while I still look for it.
It's literally that's it. I mean, there's not anything else to it other than that they wrap filming, and so now the I know that it's supposed to come out next year, but it's the beginning of a trilogy, so there's gonna be 3 more movies, or 3 movies.
Here it is,
and this is part 1. But they wrap filming, which makes me wonder if they shot all 3. At the same time, or are they shooting them separate, or how is all that going down?
I found the article. Here it is. It's 28 years later, wrap production.
This is from
Danny
Joe
Boyle,
Blow as well.
Yeah, sorry, from Joe Blow. Screenwriter Alex Garland have finally reunited to make a sequel to their zombie, or if you prefer, Infected People movie classic. As we reported earlier this year, the sequel set up at Sony is going to be called 28 Years Later, and it's meant to launch a whole new trilogy of the 28 Days Later sequels. At least 2 of those 3 potential movies are happening for sure. So they probably got the first 2 done.
But that's what are they shooting them at the same time, or?
So apparently this past Sunday that wrapped filming on 28 Years Later, and that as of yesterday, work has officially begun on the second movie. Okay, so they wrapped on the first one. They just started. The cast of 28 Years Later.
They are shooting them at the same time, though.
Right.
Which makes me think they're going to probably be like really fused together, kind of like Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, where it's like 2 parts of the same story kind of thing.
Cast 28 Years Later includes Jodie Comer, the Bike Riders, Aaron Taylor Johnson, the Fall Guy, Aaron Kellyman, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Kellyman, and Ralph Finney. I don't know that guy. It's also been said that 28 Days Later star Cillian Murphy returns in a surprising way. Okay, so we'll see. In the original film, Murphy played bicycle courier Jim, who wakes up from a coma to find himself in an apocalyptic England that's overrun by people who've been infected by the rage virus. Boyle and Garland went through several endings for 28 Days Later before landing on the one moviegoers saw in theater. And that ending was the only one where Jim survived, so he's still out there ready to live through another rage virus nightmare 28 years later. As the Hollywood Reporter previously noted, the 2002 film grossed $82.7 million globally and spawned a sequel. 2007's 28 Weeks Later, though Boyle and Garland were only nominally involved as executive producers. Garland is already writing the screenplay for the sequel that will come after 28 Years Later. Of the 2 28 Years Later projects currently in the works, Boyle is only planning to direct the first one. The second film, he's passing the helm over to Candyman and the Marvels director, Nia DaCosta. That's going to suck.
No, it's not.
Dude, Candyman and the Marvels were terrible.
Well, you could talk about those and you could have issues with the script, but the actual directing, especially Candyman, like she directed the hell out of that movie. That movie looked amazing. The pacing,
yeah, but
you can argue about the
directing.
No, you can argue about the script of Candyman.
The director of photography is more responsible to how the movie looks. Obviously,
yeah, but the director doesn't write the movie.
Not all the time.
I'm a big defender of Candyman, like the new Candyman. I thought they did a damn good job of like plenty of callbacks to the original while doing what everybody says that they hate that sequels don't do, and that's do anything new and fresh and moving forward. And they took some big swings at risk in that movie, and I thought it was cool, man. Like, what was your problem with Candyman?
I thought it was boring.
What?
Yeah, I was feeling the runtime. I didn't get anything new. I didn't get anything new out of it. I thought the story was.
It does a whole new
okay.
All right, well, whatever. We have other things to argue about today.
Well, listen, we'll split the difference, okay? Candyman and the Marvels. We'll split the difference. We'll give
the Marvels was horrible.
Marvels was terrible.
Horrible.
So that does not give me faith in Nia DaCosta, especially since she also doesn't have that very long of a
Well, I don't think that Nia DaCosta once again is to blame for the Marvels. The Marvels to me felt super studio fucking controlled. Like that movie was so PC. There was no meat on the bones. Like I never blame a director for anything that comes out of Marvel or Disney. Like I just don't. It's like
okay. I mean,
like,
there is something to be said about that. I will give you that. Disney definitely casts directors. They don't actually, they don't actually hire directors.
Dude,
I will give you that. Like, however,
I don't think anybody argues that God damn it. What's his name? The guy that did Spider-Man and Evil Dead, Sam Raimi. Nobody argues that Sam Raimi is a phenomenal director. And yet, dude, a lot of people have issues with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Right. I understand.
To me, the only part of that movie that is his is the second half. And it's the only part of that movie I thought was good. But the whole first half is bloated and stupid and boring. And it's obviously studio controlled. Like all these, like they have every one of these movies. A lot of the reason why these Marvel movies are failing so bad is because there's so much bullshit that's supposed to be setting up the next movie and setting up this world. And they forget about making a good movie in and of itself.
So Nia DaCosta did write both Candyman and the Marvels.
She co-wrote on both.
She is credited as, I mean, like, yes, both. All of these movies have like 3-4 fucking writers. Like I get that, but
so I just don't blame her. I think that there's a lot of good. I think she's got potential is all I was saying. Like, I just don't think that it is going to be a for sure bad movie, especially with the writing of what's his name? Who's writing him 20 years later?
Oh, friggin'
I'm not gonna remember too many damn names.
It's Alex Garland. Alex
Garland. Thank you.
Right. Sorry, I had to scroll up.
And Alex Garland, I love his movies, but his writing to me has always been what he does best.
Well, let me finish this. Thanks to their deal with Sony, each of these new films will be receiving a theatrical release and will have budgets in the $60 million range. It's a little over the budget range I think horror movies should have, especially horror movies like this, but that's not egregious. It's not 250 million,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, because I feel like Alien had to right around that same budget, but that also is probably including promotional and the actors involved and stuff like that. And like, if you have Cillian Murphy, I'm sure he wasn't cheap, especially after
he probably wasn't. I just, like I said, I think the sweet spot for horror is between 1 and 10 million. That's what I think. But
I think sweet spot is 20 for a project like this, 20 to 40. Okay. Like I do agree that 60 sounds a bit high, but we also don't know how grand of a, like if this one is the whole world, which is what I think is going to happen, it's going to be a much more epic thing than like say those first two movies. I can see why it would be more expensive. So we'll see. I want to be positive going into these because I'm really hopeful. Like I can easily be doubtful. I could easily be doubtful on them because there's a lot of reasons to be doubtful. But I've been waiting for these movies for 20, years. So I'm like,
I will play the doubter role. I'm fine with that.
Well, no, I mean, I am definitely. There's definitely, it's just like Beetlejuice. I'm definitely like there's always a part of me that is
cautiously optimistic.
Or it's just I try to put the optimistic part first because the world is full of negative bullshit, and it's like
you're cautiously optimistic.
I can just add to the negative, which is what is kind of the majority of the world. It seems like now is negative, or I could try to add a little bit of the positivity, which there's not enough of in the world. And so that's kind of the whole point of.
I mean, I think there's plenty of
like if you know me outside of the channel and stuff, like definitely definitely a negative person at times, like, but when it comes to this stuff, I try to stay positive,
Well, we'll see when it comes out. All right, you guys want to watch Terrifier 3 trailer?
Oh, please. I've been
Yay!
dying.
All right, here we go.
I knew it was
Terrifier
coming
3.
out for over a week. I've known it was coming out today.
All right, here we go. Terrifier 3. This is it.
It still looks like she's the best actor in it.
It's still buried there, isn't it? Might be the only thing that can stop them.
Dude, that shot is dope.
Here we go.
Yeah, hopefully they don't claim this. To me, it looks more gritty, like it's going back closer to the original as far as like the way it's lit and just the kind of feel of it. It feels a little more, because as much as I love Terrifier 2, I know a lot of people complain that it was a little, didn't have the grit that people loved about Terrifier, the first one. So, what do you think?
I don't know, man. The first two are just so bad.
I know you're not a big Terrifier fan.
I'm not. I like Art. Art the Clown is great, right? He's a very charismatic villain. He's fun to watch, right? But
that's what you go to see. That's literally the only.
I know.
It is our brand new tech. It's our new Friday the 13th. Like I can picture me and you in 1985 having this conversation, because I'm not going to argue that the Friday the 13th movies are not good, but they're fun. And it's about Jason. You go to see Jason kill people. And that's literally what this is. I do think that they're better movies than the Friday the 13th movies.
I think really what soured my taste on the first Terrifier was that it took itself seriously and was as bad as it was. And then the second one.
What do you mean it took itself seriously?
The movie took itself very seriously. Like it didn't have what I thought the second, and probably what this one.
It didn't. The humor wasn't as much there,
right? When it came with the humor and all that, like it seemed like it was trying to be like a seriously,
and it's what
scary
my issues were with it as well,
right? And the characters just suck. There's not that much terror in it. The scene with her getting sawed in half was like gross, but other than that, it's like,
well, that movie literally was meant to be a Damien Leone film reel for his special effects.
No,
that was literally why he made that. He spent $30,000 to basically come up with something to show people what he could do in Hollywood. And then it just happened to get legs, and it's, and it's all because of the gore being like jaw dropping, like nobody had seen. Because even in this new movie, which I wanted to mention anyway, that is made by the same team. I went and saw it last week. It's called Stream.
Yeah.
And it's not as good as Terrifier. It definitely had problems, but it was a fun movie. And Damien Leone did the special effects in it. And it's just, dude, the guy is incredible. Like, I don't know if there's anybody doing practical effects like gore and whatnot on the level that Damien Leone does. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's great.
I don't know what makes him so much better than everybody else, but like, dude, there was a couple kills in this movie, and it's funny because the acting's not great. Like, there's a lot of problems with Stream. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's fun, right? But like, all of a sudden there'd be these kills, and you're just like, oh shit, that's like another level. Like this, the rest of the movie is like right here. His effects are so good. They're just like, whoop.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Tom Savini from back in the 80s.
I'm not taking away anything from Damien Leone's effects skills. He definitely has it. He just does not have the writing and directing. Maybe he'll get it in this third one. I wasn't impressed with the second one.
But I feel like he got quite a bit better in the second one. And then I expect he'll get even better in this one. And like if he keeps going on that trajectory, I mean, you're critical, dude. Like you're a hard nut to crack. Like,
I know.
I mean, it has to be a pretty amazing movie for like writing wise and stuff for you to even be like, yeah, it was good. I mean, I don't remember the last thing you said was good writing wise. So
I know. Well, okay. So I thought, I mean, we kind of got into it last week about this, but my favorite movie of 2024 so far has been When Evil Lurks, or not When Evil Lurks, friggin'
In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature. But I did
Which
think
has no writing.
I did well.
There's no story.
Right. But this is where like I was just about to say the one that I did think that I thought the writing was good was Late Night with the Devil this year.
Yeah.
I thought that was good writing.
Yeah.
No, yes. Allison's cracking me up. Yes, no, When Evil Lurks is good. And also, yes, welcome to the show.
Yeah, When Evil Lurks is amazing, but it's from last year.
It is a meme that DJ does not like anything, but it's untrue. Trust me, I'll tell you what I like.
Hey, I said
But
you're
there's
hard
just
nut
been
to
a lot-
crack. I just was saying you're a hard nut to crack. Like that's
Well,
fine.
I am, but it's just I have
fine.
not seen a lot of modern horror do what a lot of the other movies that I do like or that I think are good movies
But
have
I would
done.
argue that
reason why
I'd argue that every year it's this way. Like if you have a bar that you set, like say last year, in my opinion, we had two. We had When Evil Lurks and Talk to Me. Those were the cream of the crop. Those were the only two movies that I think will be remembered 20 years from now. Like there's other ones that are fun and certain people will still remember them, whatever, but as far as the ones that were like that upper echelon, well written, well directed, well shot, like all of that stuff, there's only two. And like every year you get like one or two. And if you set that bar as that, it has to reach there for it to be like what you consider a good movie. That's fine. I still enjoy the stuff that's in that.
I think my problem is I go into a lot of these
range,
I go into a lot of these modern slashers or a lot of these modern horror movies thinking that I'm going to get something and it's not what it's marketed wrong, which might be what it is. And so,
but I would say that's your
reiterate,
problem as well as the audiences out there. Cause I'm hearing this from a lot of people. You guys got to stop paying attention to the marketing. Stop me. Because that's the hype machine. You know what I mean? They're literally, their job is to get you to be hyped up and think that you're going to be watching this. And then you go in and you're like, this isn't that. So I think that's also part of why I seem to like a lot more is just, I don't pay attention to any of it. If anything, I kind of think the opposite. So like when Alien is being talked about as like this, great, scariest movie, whatever the fuck, I'm sitting there thinking, it's going to be okay. And so
they did the same thing with
better
this.
than okay. I'm like, hell yeah.
They did the same thing with this. The trailer had something in there that this movie is geared up to be the scariest movie of the year. And it's like, fuck, just stop saying this shit.
But you should know better. Like if you are a veteran of this world, it's like every movie is going to say that. And scariest drives me crazy because that is so subjective. Like,
right, everybody
should have said goriest because I can almost guarantee you this will be the goriest movie of the year.
Probably.
You could say gory or most fucked up or most disturbing or whatever. But yeah, scariest drives me crazy because what is the scariest to me is not going to be to you and vice versa and so on down the line. Like nothing scares me anymore. And when I saw Oddity and it was the first movie that actually got to me in theaters, I wouldn't say it scared me per se, but like at least made me jump and like got my heart going a little bit. And that was the first movie that had done that in probably 5+ years to me, maybe more than 5 years. And when I said that in the review, I had all these people being like, it's not that scary. I'm like I said in my review, like it got me.
I still have to see Oddity. I still have to see Oddity.
Yeah, there's a couple that you
I hear
because
really
you haven't. The one that's going to impress you is Strange Darling.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
That's going to impress you.
So I'll watch that as well. But yeah, I
but
mean, when it
don't
comes
know anything going in with Strange Darling.
I'm
The
not.
big key, the big key with that one is to not know anything.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like I barely watched the trailer. I didn't even remember, like I'd seen the trailer, but it was literally like kind of background noise. So I barely even, but the trailer set you up pretty good anyway. So even if you've seen the trailer, you're still not going to know what you're getting into.
Okay, so
So we need to get into The Crow because we don't have
The Crow. So go ahead and just give a recap of your review. I'm going to go put some more coals on real quick while you do that. So go ahead and just do that, and then I'll come back.
Ugh.
You can do it. Come on, it's gonna take 2 minutes.
No, I'm going to talk about other movies I saw. We'll talk about The Crow when you get back. So 2 movies that I went and saw besides The Crow this past week, and I did do reviews of them. So if you guys want to check those out, I saw Stream, which is a flawed movie, but I think is a lot of fun. If you go into it expecting a movie like Hatchet, where it's you turn your brain off, it's definitely got issues. It's not the greatest acted or any of that, but it's just a fun, stupid movie. I definitely think you should check out Stream, and it's really cool, especially too if you're a big fan of like horror cons and all the different horror icons that we see at them, signing autographs and stuff, because it's got so many different horror legends in it. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie with this many different horror icons in one little movie. So it's fun. And then the other movie I went and saw is Blink Twice. And I think Blink Twice is a really good movie as well. Like it's funny because I keep comparing it in a weird way to Strange Darling, even though they're very different movies, but like they're just both like really beautifully shot movies that are intense. Like both of them have elements of them that are really intense. No, Blink Twice.
Oh, Blink Twice. Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a theater playing Stream 45 minutes from me, so I have to drive that far just to go watch it.
Yeah, Stream. I wouldn't drive 45 minutes for Stream.
Damn it. All right.
Go see Strange Darling.
All right, I'll go see that.
Then think about other stuff. Strange Darling is a filmmaker's film. Like it's shot on 35 millimeter. It is just like, it's the acting. It's so good. I mean, it's like Mia Goth levels of intense acting in it. I mean, it is, what's her name? I'm forgetting the name of the lead actress, but she's just incredible. It's just so good. It's such a good movie.
All right. Well,
it needs support, man. It's like an indie movie doing it right.
I'll go
to see it.
I'll watch it. You better not disappoint me. But anyway, let's talk about this dumpster fire of a movie, The Crow, that just came out. So
like, as long as you don't know anything about Strange Darling, I can't see you being disappointed. It's one of those, like, if people hype it up for you and they tell you it's the scariest, or they tell you it's this or that, that's when movies get you. But if you don't know what it is, other than people saying it's good, like, that's what people should say.
I have not looked into I have not looked into Strange Darling at all, but I will go see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So The Crow. Let's see here. I can't think of a redeeming thing about this movie. And what everybody seems to be saying online, other than it's bad, is the one good thing about this movie is the opera scene. I did not think it was that good.
No, I agree. That
didn't think
scene actually drove me crazy because I felt like the opera took away from the only good part of the fucking movie. Like, one of my biggest problems with it is, where's the violence? Where's the action?
What the trailer promised?
It's boring. The majority of that action that you see in the trailer is literally that opera scene.
Yeah. The majority of the movie
90%. And then in that opera scene, every time there's like a good kill or a good action moment, they go and they flash over to the opera scene. And you're just like, I was just getting into the fighting. I was just getting into the gore. And then now we're watching opera again. And like, The Crow had such a great soundtrack, and the music went with that action so well. And then in this, when the action's happening, it's opera music. Like, that doesn't get me hyped up. Like, I don't know. It's such a different movie than the original. And that was, I think, a big why it's hard for everybody, including me, to like, how do you watch this with an open mind and just watch it for what it is?
Yeah.
Because,
so
you know,
that is what killed this movie so much. I mean, like, it's not what killed this movie, but the fact that it was,
but it is
people
one of the
saying that
obstacles.
you shouldn't compare this to the original. Yes, you should. That was the filmmaker's intent. That's why they named the characters Eric and Shelley. That's why
no, that's not true.
Yes,
It's based on the comic.
Then it's not based off the comic. Have you read the comic?
Yeah.
You've
this
read
is
it.
supposed to be
Where in
directed
the comic
off that.
Where in the comic
I know,
are these events
but
of Eric and Shelley? So that's why you have to compare it to the original, because that's what the filmmakers want you to do. The fact that they said that it was based off the comic, that the characters are named Eric and Shelley, they want you to compare it to the original. And so you have to. And then even if you don't compare it to the original, even if you look at it from like it's its own movie, it's called like The Raven or something like that.
Yeah.
It's still
not good.
Movie.
Yeah, it's still not good.
And
the
that's
writing
my
is
point.
Awful. That's my
the
point.
Directing
like,
is awful.
Because I don't blame anybody for comparing it. But I feel like if you compare it, you're immediately not going to like it. Like, you know what I mean? But if you can try to not compare them, it even then still doesn't work. Like, there's so many problems with this. And so I get like what everybody's saying. My whole thing in my review was just, I don't think it's like quite as bad as some people are saying. Like, a lot of people acting like it's the worst fucking movie ever made. And like, I mean, I've literally seen people saying it's the worst sequel ever made and like crazy shit like that. And I'm like, dude, I mean, like
it's definitely up there with
It's
Nightmare.
not good, but dude.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I really don't have a good thing to say. But like, I when I posted my review on it, like I couldn't think of one good thing about that. I mean, like, this is proof positive that a bad script can pull down an actor. Robert Hudson, which apparently I guess you pronounce his name Houston, Robert Houston. I always pronounced it.
It's not
Hudson.
Robert. It's
Danny. Sorry, Danny Houston.
Danny Houston. I know. Me too.
I pronounced it Hudson. Whatever.
Yeah, I got corrected on that one because I did that too. I called him Huston, and then people were like, "No, it's Houston."
Sorry. Danny
He's
Houston
not even good in this.
Skarsgård. I know.
That blew me away because Danny Houston
down.
is like, he's amazing in so many movies. And like, you have him as a villain. Like, you know what blew me away? This is something that has had me scratching my head. Like, there's so many problems, okay? But this is one that really has got me going, what in the hell? They start this movie off by basically saying that Danny Houston is on this planet is still alive or whatever in an unnatural way. Basically, he makes a deal with the devil, so to speak, right? And that's the end of that.
Right. We never find out why.
Weren't you expecting him to have a big showdown at the end and have like superpowers or something?
I was expecting something.
Like, what's the point of him making a deal with the devil when that's literally it? Like, there's never like, okay.
We have
like
no idea.
His whole whispery thing. They never explain that. Like how he whispers in people's ears. Never explain that. What is he doing? You know, why does that make people do what they do?
What made me like guffaw in the theater is
guys, we're going to get into spoilers because it's like, there's no way for us to really talk about this.
You can't spoil this movie though.
Yeah, but we won't say like exactly how the end goes down or any of that, but like, there's going to be things that are spoiler-ish. Like, we can't talk about it without there being some things that are spoilers. Just warning people, if you haven't seen it and you really want to see it without having anything spoiled at all, then you might want to tune out.
I don't know why you would want to watch. I mean, like, fuck.
But I know. Anyway, I would not waste money.
What made me laugh out loud? What made me laugh out loud in the theater, other than like most of the dialogue, like I'm sure the people sitting next to me, which they weren't sitting next to me, they were like a few seats down. I'm sure they were getting maybe annoyed at the fact that I was laughing at this movie as much as I was. But the thing that made me laugh out loud the loudest was when Eric saw the video that Shelley is like being hunted over.
Yeah.
And it shows that she is under the influence of Danny Houston and stabs this person, and then he's like, well, I don't know if I can love her now because
Yeah, he like
somebody.
immediately turns on her, and you're like, what?
You're like, why? Like, she's fucking like, you saw
like
what happened.
It's obvious that it's so obvious that he's like did this and made her do this. Like, she's obviously in a trance when she does that.
And like,
it's
why is
ridiculous? Because I was expecting some horrible thing.
And
like,
why
I was
is
expecting to see this video and like she did, I don't know, was killing babies, like eating a baby or something really fucked up. And it's like, that's it.
But still, the thing that what also just doesn't make sense is even when you see the big reveal, Danny Houston's character there's nothing in that video that's incriminating of him. It's incriminating of her.
Yeah,
so like,
I know. I didn't get that either. Why are they going after? Yep, over the tape.
Like it.
Yeah, like literally, it just all you see is him whisper in her ear. Like, if that's in a court of law, that isn't. And like, why would he care anyway? If like he's supposed to be like supernatural,
right? Why does he
been around
care?
for hundreds of years? Like, it's ridiculous. He's supposed to have been around hundreds of years, but has no powers. There's no cool showdown at the end.
No,
at all.
No, the climax. So the movie starts at 1 hour and 15 minutes in. Like, that's when the movie starts.
Yeah.
So you can literally skip.
That's what I'm saying. Is so slow. The first hour of this movie is so slow. Nothing happens. It's just them meeting and falling in love, which makes no sense either. When it's an hour long, it's an hour, right? And yet, doesn't their relationship feel like it happens super fast? Like they're just all of a sudden in love. And yet, it's an hour. Like, what happens in the first hour of this movie?
The writer or writers of this movie, because there's been like 10,
and they're so unlikable. They're so unlikable.
They're terrible characters. But like, whoever wrote this movie or wrote that love sequence, like, they've never been in love before.
Nope.
Because they seem to think that love is just doing drugs and having sex. Like, that's what that's not love.
No, they're in lust. like we've all been. Like, that happens in like the first few weeks or whatever. Like, you're getting some, and it's like, you're like, this is nice, great. Yeah. Like, and you can't be away from each other, and like, all of that. That's not love. And no one that is an actual adult thinks of that as like will die for that person kind of love. And it's amazing because if you watch The First Crow, they don't have to do much. There's not a ton of seeing Shelley and Draven,
Eric Draven.
Eric, yeah. Her and Eric, you don't see them together that much. There's not a ton of setup and backstories. Sure as hell not an hour of it. And yet, I felt like they were way more in love than I ever felt.
They were way more in love with each other. The brutality of their death was worse in the first movie. That was another thing that made me fucking laugh.
I know. I understand that SA gets a lot of people uncomfortable, and so I understand why they took that out of the movie, but it's like, dude, that's was what made it feel so, because that's what I mean. Like, that was what made it, the gravitas. This is supposed to be an R-rated movie. People should be offended and a little uncomfortable. So like,
I mean, yes, you're supposed to feel that way, but even like, you can still do it in a way that, like, in the original, you can still do stuff like that in a way that it's not going to be like, it's not going to be gratuitous, right? It's not going to be this egregious display. It's not going to be Last House on the Left, right? It's not going to be like that. It's going to be, you can still show that, and audiences are still going to get the feel of that. And audiences also endeared themselves to Eric and Shelley in the first one, because they show that these people are taking care of the girl. What's her name?
And they're not dirtbags. Like, these two feel like scummy dirtbags. Like, they're like the cringy kind of dirtbags that like break the law for stupid shit. Right. Like, that's the kind of people that they're in this movie. Like, they just reminded me.
It just reminded me
the kind that'll shoplift just for no reason. Like, that's what these two feel like in this, like, just scummy and shitty people.
And that just reminded me of the scene of how Shelley gets herself put into rehab. She's being chased by somebody. She sees cops. You would think that she would just be like, there's somebody fucking chasing me. Like,
yeah,
I'm in danger.
Yeah, I know.
The cops would be like, oh,
you don't have to get arrested. You don't have to get yourself arrested.
And, like, dumps out drugs. to get
And they
herself.
made it, yeah, but they made it like it was intentional. It's like, so she intentionally dropped her purse, knowing that it would open up enough that her drugs would fall out, and the cops
And then
would
she
see,
would
like,
get arrested.
yeah.
And like,
Makes
how
no
did she know
sense.
she was going to be going to this rehab facility?
Yeah, and then
They
that's
could
my
just
other
lock her
thing.
up.
Like, what rehab is like where both sexes
Oh
can
yeah,
just hang out?
co-ed rehab, like right,
Yeah,
that's not
like
happening.
especially one like this where they're basically locked in cells, so to speak. Like this
Right.
is not, I guess it's not a jail. Like I thought it was prison because it's kind of more like a prison than like
It
a
looks
normal
like a prison, but
rehab.
no, it's a rehab facility. I
Yeah,
think
it's like a
half and
weird.
half.
Yeah, it's like a weird. I don't know. It just felt weird to me, and it felt
Yeah.
weird to me that they're like that. Everybody's fine with the two of them obviously hooking up while they're there. You know, like it just felt.
Fucking dumb.
Yeah,
This movie's fucking dumb.
because it's not just a regular rehab. If it's like if you're not able to easily get out, I mean, they had barbed wire fences and shit.
Right, that's
So
jail.
it's obviously not. Yeah,
right. Fuck. I gotta get my.
like they had to break out. It wasn't like they just like snuck out. Like they literally had to like make.
They had bracelets
break
on their
for it.
ankles.
Yeah.
So
So
they
like,
could just
I
cut
don't
and just
know.
leave whatever. Like,
Yeah,
the
I
fact
don't
that
know.
he's
That's
like,
what I
just wanna
mean.
go.
Like if it's a regular, like the celebrities go to kind of rehab,
my
well then
God.
yeah, there's probably, you know, both sexes in common space together, or whatever, right? But
I
when
don't
you're
think
in
they ever
a
do that.
when you're in a court appointed rehab, there's no way they're letting like both sexes be in the same area and
Right.
and definitely fucking.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. This movie
Well,
was
so that was The
aggravating.
Crow. So if you haven't seen it yet, you just watched probably a better version of it, of us talking about it. I will say that I do want to say the one thing about the opera, that the opera in the movie itself is called Robert the Devil. And it's actually a good opera about this guy whose dad is
It
the
looked
devil.
cool.
And
It looks
so,
hella
like,
cool. Like,
if-
so if you want to say that's a positive, like it does, the visuals look really cool in that part of the movie. Like, I do like the juxtapose of the violence and gore and then blending in with the opera. It's just tonally, they don't fit together. Like, tonally, they take away from each other. So, what do you guys got to say? Let's see what you guys in the comments are saying. A good movie, let's see. A good movie makes you feel as the movie intends to make you feel. If it's just laughably bad, ridicule should be expected. Yeah, I mean, this movie is a big flop. Yeah, exactly. Movie rehab. But yeah, I mean, it did really bad at the box office too. So it's not
the
even.
second, the second weekend, second weekend,
People just aren't going.
It's gonna tumble.
Oh, I mean, it already, dude, it did so bad. It was beaten out by, it was beaten out by a bunch of movies. Like there was one in particular that I was like, damn, even that made more. What was it? Let me bring that up.
I don't know. People are saying that Borderlands is the only.
Yeah, Blink Twice. Blink Twice made more
than it. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Coraline, that's what it was. Coraline made more in its re-release. It made more. Yeah.
My God.
Twisters made more.
Well, Twisters was
Ends
good.
With Us made more. Yeah, but Twisters has been out for fucking 6 weeks.
That's true.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not a matter of like Coraline is re-released, you know, from years, and you know, it's like special re-release thing. Usually those movies make like just a couple million, and it still made more than The Crow on its opening weekend. Oh, Coraline's awesome. I went and saw it again. Like, I love it. Every time it's re-released, every year, basically, I go see Coraline. It's one of the animated movies that feels like Halloween to me.
Mr. Wonderful says we should do another show where we pick out bad movies to ridicule and call it movie rehab. Well, so what that would do is what I think that would be is like, look, this is a bad movie. Here's what it could have made it better. And here's what could have made it good. And that would be like the rehab part of it, I think.
Yeah. Kind of like what Sledgehammer does, where he does the in defense of, like I like that idea too, where because it'll be a movie that most people think is bad, but the person's on there defending it and why they liked it.
Yeah.
Like for me, that would be Rob Zombie's Halloween, where a lot of people hate it,
Ugh,
but
I almost walked out of that movie.
There's a lot I still like about it, but it is one, like, I think at the very least, like it or not, you can admit that Rob Zombie at least tried to do something different with it. Like this Crow,
I guess.
doesn't, I guess they tried to do something different with it. It's just none of what they did worked.
It was just incompetency all around. That's what it was.
I don't really know what they did different either. Like, I don't know.
Bad.
Just
like the one thing you probably could have done well was the soundtrack. And the soundtrack of this movie is also bad.
No, some of the soundtrack's cool.
I wasn't tapping my toes to one song in this. In fact,
no, it's not that kind of music though. Like a lot of the music in this is more, it's not like, well, yeah, but it's different than the original movie soundtrack. That one, it was like songs you would listen to. This is almost more like ambient, weird, like
they had actual like
indie bands, and yeah, but it's just
they had a lot of indie bands in The Crow. I mean, the original 94 Crows soundtrack was like iconic for a generation.
But that's what I was talking about, how that had rock, like hard rock. This has none of that. So it's like, I like the music. I like some of the music in this, right? But none of it gets you going. Like this movie does not feel like an action thriller at all. Like it, I guess it's supposed to be like a dark drama love story or some shit. Like, I'm not exactly sure what they were trying to make here.
No idea.
And that's what I mean by like it tonally felt all over the place, because it doesn't feel like it has any clue of what it wants to be as a movie. You know what it did? It felt like a bunch of different writers and a bunch of different people in a room, and none of them could agree on what they were making.
Yeah, that's essentially the making of this movie. I mean, it's been in development hell since 2008, 2012.
Yep.
When do they?
It's why I am so against writer teams. I'm so against writer teams, because so often when it's more than maybe two writers can work, but whenever you see like 3, 4, 5 people credited for writing, like that's just a mess.
Especially people who haven't written together. So like, I wouldn't say writing teams are bad, just so long as that writing team, like
but what writing teams are more than 2 people?
Broken Lizard.
You think Broken Lizard is good at writing?
Yeah,
like that's just the comedies.
Super Troopers and Slam and Sam.
Yeah, but it's just comedy writing. It's different, man.
Yeah, but comedy.
I'm just saying it's a different.
Comedy and horror are pretty similar because it's all about timing.
No, it's a totally different setup. Yeah, but it's a totally different type of script.
Different. It's not totally different. It's not. You need to have the same amount of creativity. You need to know exactly how to write jokes.
Broken Lizard, there is no real story in those. It's like just one joke set up to the next.
There's a story in Super Troopers. There's actually 2 stories. They actually have an A and a B story.
Yeah, but you would never watch those movies for the story. That's what
it's what helps make them. It's what helps make them good. There's good setups, good payoffs.
I love their movies. I love their movies. I'm not trying to argue that, but I'm just saying, like, it's just about the jokes. It would be like saying a horror movie, it's just about the jump scares. Like, you're not going to get a good horror movie that's just about the jump scares. It's got to have more substance to the. I guess what I'm saying is we expect more of the script and the dialogue and stuff in a horror movie than we do a comedy like that.
I don't know.
Unless you're talking about a horror movie like Terrifier, that's just really about the kills.
Well, I mean, you do have horror comedies. Tucker and Dale versus Evil is probably one of the best horror comedies. That's incredibly well written.
So good. But that's not a team of writers.
I understand, man. I don't know how many writer horror.
I guess I'm just talking about. That's what I mean.
Asked me the question.
Well, no, but that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Like, how many writer teams do we have for horror?
I mean, we don't have a lot. We don't have a lot. I'm just saying. But what I was
and that's what I'm basing it.
Against
that's what I'm basing
teams.
it on. When I think about teams of writers, I never see more than 2 writers on any movie that's good. Anytime I see like 3, 4 writers,
because you have like a too many cooks kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
like a lot of people didn't, like we were just talking about a little bit ago, the newest Candyman, had fucking 4 writers. And like all these Blumhouse ones, Imaginary, and like all these shitty Blumhouse ones, or like the Halloween movies where there's 4 fucking writers.
Right. I think we're saying
they
the same
just
thing.
Feel disjointed. They feel like, that was my issue with Halloween Kills and especially Halloween Ends. They felt like my issues with those movies, it's the same as I felt about The Crow. It had that same feeling of like a bunch of different people in a room. And this may not even have had a bunch of writers, but I guarantee you there was a bunch of people who all had say.
Right.
And they were, and they couldn't ever really agree on something.
It feels like 3 or 4 movies like stapled together into one script. And then they just were like, all right, action. Yeah, it was bad.
And it's weird because it's like it'll literally transition. Because it's like it feels like a rom-com in one scene, then it goes into like a moody drama in another scene. Then it's like, okay, now it's time for our action movie. It's like all of a sudden just action.
Yeah. All right. That's gonna
do
the
way this movie's shot. Like usually I could still be like, but at least it looked good, right? This movie didn't even look good. Like there's so many like really bad looking green screen parts. Like the one that got me the most was when he's in that middle world, like the purgatory world.
Right, the train station.
All the crows over. Dude, it looks so bad. Like the sky and everything is so obviously like CGI. Like what's that whole place?
What's the thing from Harry Potter? I heard somebody call it that, and that cracked me up. 9 3/4 or whatever.
Yeah, the train station thing.
Yeah, the train station in Harry Potter. That's what they said when Eric goes to.
But that looked better than this.
Platform 9 3/4 or whatever. I sorry, I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but that still looked better than this. Like the sky and the crows looked so fake. It looked like it reminded me a lot of this movie reminding me of like an early 2000s music video.
Right.
Like an Evanescence music video.
I love Evanescence. Don't hate on Evanescence.
No, but in the early 2000s music videos, if that's done now, it's pretty fucking cheesy.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it was cool in 2005, but now it's like you need to update it. And this movie looks like it was made in 2005.
Yeah. Oh shit. All right.
Well, that's gonna do it. It has that cringy feeling of like people that don't know what is, and I said this in my review, that don't know what is actually cool, and they just simply are. Don't the kids think this is cool? This like fucking dude that looks like he's a wannabe what's that fucking rapper
artist,
dude?
Like Post Malone? Yeah.
No, Post Malone looks way cooler than this because he's just a mess. Like that's my issue with this. It doesn't look earned. Like he doesn't look like the guys that look that way in the real world. They look kind of messy. They look like their shit is disjointed. It doesn't make sense. This looks like a bunch of scratch and sniffs, fucking tattoos stuck all over him. Like everything looks too phony. Looks too try hard. Yeah, like none of it looks earned. Like my tattoos are fucking shitty, man. They look like a mess because they're earned of a fucking life of over 40 years of getting mismatched tattoos by different tattoo artists, fading in different, some fade more than others. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just has a different look and feel about it.
Right. Because like it recalled it as soon as that first image hit, everybody thought Jared Leto's Joker. Because it was the same type of tattoos.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Where it looks like the tattoos are all evenly spaced apart, right? And they're like trendy, like weird, or I don't know.
Or this damaged on his forehead or whatever. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta get out of here.
So try hard. Yeah,
we gotta get out of here. We're running late. We went 2 hours last week because we streamed on the wrong day. That's okay. But we're gonna wrap it up. So thanks everybody for joining us.
We're not that far over.
Please subscribe to the Screaming Room. We love seeing you guys on the Ghost Pirate channel, but those of you actually watching on the Screaming Room channel,
that's what I said.
That chat is is lacking. We love seeing you guys. Please subscribe and watch us on the Screaming Room and chat with us in the Screaming
Thank
Room
you, Mr.
chat.
Wonderful.
Please do that. But thanks for showing up, and we will see y'all next week.
Later, guys.